Hey everyone, my name's Zango, and in this video we are playing a Pokemon White 2 Hardcore Nuzlocke with only Grass-type Pokemon. When looking at only stats, Grass types in this game are actually pretty good, seeing as most of them have pretty high stats overall. Sadly for me, good stats don't really matter when you have 5 weaknesses, those of which being Bug, Fire, Flying, Ice, and Poison. This many weaknesses is going to be dreadful, seeing as majority of my Pokemon are pure Grass types and I can't really deal with Fire types at all. Pokemon White 2 offers me 10 Grass type Pokemon that I can use in this run. This is really good for me, seeing as I already know I'm gonna have to burn a few Pokemon just to get through this game. One more thing before I start this video, I just want to say that SilphSpectre has already done this video idea, but the way his run turns out is completely different than mine, so you're gonna have to watch his video as well. With all that being said, I start my journey as Zango and make my way to get my first Pokemon. This Pokemon is Snivy, and he's going to be extremely key in winning this run in the future. If I lose Snivy at any point in this run, I'm probably going to have to reset, seeing as I can't outspeed anything without him. With that being said, I end up naming my Snivy Cobra, and I move on to challenge my rival. I actually nearly lose this battle, only winning because I got a lucky crit off, and after I do that, I make my way to go learn how to catch a Pokemon. Once Bianca finally stops talking, I move on to the next route to actually catch a Pokemon. This Pokemon ends up being a Swaddle, and that's way better than the Sunkern I could have gotten on this route. I catch Swaddle with no issues at all and name it Spring, and after I do that, I make my way to go do some more story. From here, I move on to battle my rival again, and he doesn't actually use a Fire type move in this battle, so I get away scot-free. Once I finish that up, I do some more story, and after that I don't really have anything else to do, so I move on to challenge my first gym. Charon leads the battle with Patrat as I lead with Cobra. Cobra can learn Growth at level 13, so that's exactly what I used on the first turn as Patrat goes for a workup. On the next turn, I decide to go for another Growth as Patrat goes for a Tackle, bringing me down to 22 HP. From here, I go for a Vine Whip, bringing Patrat down to about a third as Patrat hits me really hard with another Tackle, activating my Oran Berry. This is the last we see of Patrat though, as I'm able to take him out on the next turn with another Vine Whip as he brings out his final Pokemon, Lillipup. I go for a Vine Whip, bring Lillipup to about half as he goes for a workup. Thankfully, at this point, another Vine Whip does the trick, finishing off the Lillipup and winning me my first gym badge of the run. After I finish the first gym of this run, I head into Burbank City. Once I get into Burbank City, I talk to my mom for a bit and to Roxy, but once I'm finished with that, I don't really have anything else to do here, so I just move on to challenge the second gym. Roxy leads the battle with Coughing as I lead with Cobra. I go for a Growth on the first turn as Coughing goes for a Smog that actually misses. I then go for a Return, bringing Coughing a little bit above half as she hits me with a Smog, not really doing much damage. I then go for another Return, bringing Coughing down into the red as she goes for an Assurance, not really doing much once again. Since I know Roxy's just gonna heal, I decide to go for another Growth as she heals with a Super Potion. From here, I simply hit Coughing with 2 more Returns, finishing her off as she sends in her final Pokemon, Whirlipede. I'm able to hit Whirlipede with a Return, bringing her down to half as she goes for a Pursuit that really doesn't do that much. Whirlipede goes for a Protect as on the following turn I'm able to get off a Return, bring Whirlipede to about an 8. At this point, Whirlipede can't delay any longer as I'm able to finish her off with another Return, winning me my second gym badge of this run. After that gym battle, I head to what is easily my favorite part about Pokemon Black and White 2, Pokestar Studios. Here, I totally don't waste 15 minutes of my time, and I'm actually sad to leave as I have to go deal with Team Plasma. Team Plasma gives me no real trouble as usual, and when I'm done with them, I move on to my next city of the run, Castelia City. Once I get into the city, I immediately have to go to the sewers to find Berg and Team Plasma. I find them both in a really confusing fashion, and after I do that, I move on to catch my next Pokemon. The Pokemon I end up catching is in Castelia City Park, and it's a Petalil. Petalil evolves into Lilligant, and this could be massive for my run. The reason that this can be so big is that the Petalil that I caught has the ability Own Tempo. Own Tempo is an ability that makes it so that I can't get confused in battle. This could be huge considering Lilligant learns a move called Petal Dance that confuses you after you use it for 3 consecutive turns. In those 3 turns though, it does massive damage, having 120 base power and 100 accuracy. After I find out this great news, I name my Petalil Blossom and start my grind to get ready for the 3rd gym. After I finish up my grind and manage not to get over the level cap, I challenge the 3rd gym of this run. Berg leads the battle with Swaddaloon as I lead with Spring. I go for a Bug Bite that does about half of Swaddaloon's health as Swaddaloon goes for a String Shot. On the next turn, Swaddlung's faster than me and goes for a Struggle Bug, but that really doesn't do that much damage as I'm able to finish off the Swaddlung with a single Bug Bite. This in turn leads into his next Pokemon, Dwebble. Dwebble can hit me for a lot of damage really quickly, so I decide to switch into Blossom. Blossom gets hit for a lot of damage on the switch in and on the turn after, bringing me down to 23 HP as I go for a Leech Seed. Instead of switching, I decide to stay in with Blossom as I risk a crit, but thankfully I don't get hit by one and I go for a Mega Drain. Mega Drain does a little bit over half here as I get hit with a Smackdown on the next turn and I decide to go for a Stun Spore rather than killing with another Mega Drain. The reason I did this was to bait out Berg's Super Potion, which actually works as he uses a Super Potion on the next turn and I get off another Mega Drain. This Mega Drain actually crits, bringing Dwebble to 1 HP as Leech Seed finishes him off and Berg sends in his final Pokemon, Leavanny. For Leavanny, I decide to switch into Cobra and when I do, I get hit for not really that much damage. I then go for a return, only doing about an eighth as Leavanny goes for a String Shot. Leavanny's now faster as he goes for another Struggle Bug as I go for another return. I eat my Oran Berry so I can survive one more Struggle Bug, and after I do that, I hit one final return, then I'm forced to switch out. I decide to move into Spring, who tanks a Struggle Bug, and after that, I tank one more Struggle Bug, eat my Oran Berry, and hit a Bug Bite, doing a lot of damage, bringing Leavanny to 1 HP. Leavanny then goes for a Struggle Bug that brings me to 2 HP as I'm able to finish him off with a Bug Bite, winning me my 3rd gym badge of this run. Immediately after I finish that battle, Spring evolves into a Leavanny. After that happens, I head into the Desert Resort where I'm actually able to catch another Pokemon, this Pokemon being Maractus. I decide to catch him and name him Roots and make my way into the next city of the run, Nimbasa City. Once in Nimbasa City, I'm actually able to catch my next Pokemon of this run, Pansage. It took me forever to get this encounter, but thankfully I finally did, and once I catch that Pansage, I name it Amazon. After I catch that Pansage, I head to go get my Sunstone so I can evolve Petalil into a Lilligant. After I get that final evolution, I make my way to Elisa to get my 4th gym badge of this run. Elisa leads the battle with Emolga as I lead with Amazon. Elisa decides not to go for an Aerial Ace and goes for a Pursuit as I set up with a Workup. Elisa then goes for a Quick Attack for some reason as I go for a Rock Tomb and miss. Emolga then again decides to go for a Pursuit rather than an Aerial Ace and I'm able to get off a free Rock Tomb, lowering Emolga's speed and bringing her down to about half. She then decides to go for another Quick Attack as I'm able to finish her off with a Rock Tomb as she brings in her next Pokemon, SilphSpectre. For this, I decide to switch into Roots, who tanks a Flame Charge and has to tank a second one before getting off a Giga Drain, bringing SilphSpectre to about half. SilphSpectre then heals up with a Citrus Berry as I'm forced to switch into Blossom. Rather than going for another Flame Charge, she decides to go for a Quick Attack, which doesn't do that much damage to Blossom. This allows me to survive a Flame Charge on the next turn as I go for a Giga Drain, finishing off the SilphSpectre as she brings in her final Pokemon, Falafi. Falafi was never going to be hard to deal with as I finish her off with a single Giga Drain, winning me my 4th gym badge of this run. After that gym battle, I fight Team Plasma again and I make my way to fight my first triple battle. To be honest with you, this battle isn't hard by any means, and the only reason I'm mentioning it is because Charles is such a hunk of a man. Once I've finished staring at his sprite for about 10 minutes, I head into Driftmill City. Once here, I head onto the next route to get myself a gift Pokemon. This Pokemon is Deerling, and after I get it, I name it Willow. Once I do that, I quickly head to deal with Team Plasma once more, and after I'm done with that, I head on to challenge the 5th gym of this run. Clay leads the battle with Kurokorok as I lead with Blossom. Blossom's faster and Kurokorok's a weak Pokemon, so it's an easy one-shot with a Giga Drain as he brings out his next Pokemon, Sandslash. Sandslash isn't exactly weak, so I decide to go for a Quiver Dance as Sandslash hits me with a Crush Claw, bringing me down to 62 and lowering my defense. I end up one-shotting the Sandslash on the next turn with a Giga Drain as Clay sends out his final Pokemon, Excadrill. On the first turn, I'm actually faster than Excadrill is, so I decide to go for a Giga Drain, bringing Excadrill down to the red as he heals with a Citrus Berry. I then get hit with a Bulldoze, not doing much but lowering my speed. Since my speed was lowered, I'm now slower than Excadrill and I get hit really hard with a Rock Slide, almost killing Blossom, bringing me to 2 HP as I'm able to one-shot the Excadrill's remaining health with a Giga Drain, winning me my 5th gym badge of this run. After that gym battle, I have to destroy all the trainers in the Driftmill tournament, and once I finish that up, I make my way to go deal with Team Plasma again. They're no trouble as usual, and once I finish that up, I make my way into Chargestone Cave and then Mistrulian City. While I'm in Mistrulian City, I talk to Professor Juniper for a bit, and after I do that, I go on to catch a Pokemon. The Pokemon I catch here is Fungus, and he could be really useful for the up-and-coming gym battle. I name my Fungus and head back to Chargestone Cave. While I'm in Chargestone Cave, I run around for a bit and encounter a Pharaoh Seed. Ferroseed is a really tanky Pokemon and will have way less weaknesses than any other Pokemon on my team. Once I catch my Ferroseed, I name her Tank and head on to the next gym. I fight through all the gym trainers without going over the level cap, and once I do that, I challenge Skyla for the next gym badge of this run. Skyla leads the battle with Swoobat as I lead with Amazon. On the first turn, I get hit by an Attract and I don't get immobilized by Love, hitting Swoobat with an Acrobatics doing a lot of damage. At this point, I know I can live in Acrobatics from Swoobat, so I decide to stay in as Amazon gets brought to 20 HP and I finish off the Swoobat with another Acrobatics. She then brings out her next Pokemon, Swanna, and I definitely can't live any attacks from Swanna, so I decide to switch into Fungus. Fungus avoids the initial Air Slash that gets thrown at me, but on the next turn I'm not so lucky as I get hit with an Air Slash and flinch. I do eat a Citrus Berry so I can live another Air Slash, so that's exactly what I do as I go for a Giga Drain and get hit by an Air Slash, bringing me pretty low. I go for a Giga Drain, healing up a little bit, but it only does moderate damage, so I decide to sack Fungus on the next turn. This gives me a free switch into Blossom, so I decide to go for a Giga Drain. Swanna, rather than going for an Air Slash, goes for a Feather Dance, lowering my attack, and thankfully that doesn't matter as Giga Drain's a special attacking move, and I end up one-shotting the Swanna as she brings out her final Pokemon, Skarmory. Skarmory's special attack is horrible, so it's an easy kill with a combination of Giga Drain, Leech Seed, and Stun Spore, winning me my 6th gym badge of this run. After that gym battle, I head to Reversal Mountain in Skyla's private jet. Once I'm here, I storm through that place and make my way into Undella Town. Once in Undella Town, I actually have to battle my rival, but thankfully for me, this battle goes really swimmingly as I flinch on Pheasant right in the beginning of the battle. Next, I move on to the next route where I'm actually able to catch my next Pokemon, Tangela. I decide to name my Tangela Swamp, and after I do that, I make my way onto the next town. Once here, I go through a little bit of story and deal with Team Plasma, and after that, I make my way into the next route where I'm actually able to catch another Pokemon, this Pokemon being Roselia. Roselia could actually be pretty good for this run, so I decide to name her Rosemary, and after that, I make my way into Opelucid City. There's nothing to do here, so pretty much right after I make it into the city, I head to challenge the 7th gym. Drayden leads the battle with Druddigon as I lead with Spring. Druddigon can barely do any damage to Spring, so I decide to set up 2 consecutive sword stances as Druddigon hits me, bringing me only to 102 HP. With my attack raised by 4, I go for an X-Scissor, one-shotting the Druddigon as he brings out his next Pokemon, Flygon. Flygon is faster than me and hits me really hard with a Rock Slide, bringing me super low as I'm able to one-shot with a single Leaf Blade as he brings out his final Pokemon, Haxorus. Shockingly enough, Haxorus isn't faster than Leavanny, so I'm able to get off a single X-Scissor, one-shotting the Haxorus and winning me my 7th gym badge of this run. After I get that gym badge, Team Plasma puts Opelucid City on ice, and I deal with them pretty swiftly. With Team Plasma finished up, I head to Humalao City where I can potentially get my 8th gym badge of this run. Once I'm in the gym, I manage not to get any of my Pokemon over the level cap, and I challenge Marlin for the 8th gym badge of the run. Marlin leads the battle with Caracosta as I lead with Spring. I go for a Sword Stance to set up as Marlin goes for a Shell Smash, doing the exact same. On the next turn, I go for a Leaf Blade, bringing Marlin to 1 HP as I get hit with a Smackdown, doing way more damage than I expected, bringing me to 10 HP. Thankfully, I'm able to take out Marlin with 2 more Leaf Blades as he brings out his next Pokemon, Wailord. Since I'm pretty confident I could take out Wailord with a single Leaf Blade, I decide to stay in, and thankfully I can, one-shotting the Wailord as he brings out his final Pokemon, Jellicent. With +2 attack, I can easily one-shot Jellicent with a single Leaf Blade, winning me my final gym badge of the run. Once I finish that final gym badge, I make my way to go deal with Team Plasma again, this time for the final time in the run. I easily deal with over 100 Team Plasma members before I get to my first important fight with Cloris. He leads the battle with Magneton as I lead with Amazon. I go for a Rock Slide hoping to get a flinch off, and sadly I don't as I get hit by a Thunder Wave, paralyzing me in the process. Thankfully, I do have a Cherry Berry, so I snap out of my paralysis and I go for a Dig, one-shotting the Magneton's remaining health as he sends in his next Pokemon, Magnezone. For Magnezone, I decide to go for a Dig, hitting him, bringing him into sturdy range as he hits me with the Thunder Wave, paralyzing me. This kinda sucks for me as he heals with a Full Restore on the next turn as I go for a Seed Bomb, not really doing much damage. I then get hit with a Flash Cannon on the next turn, bringing me to 83 HP as I go for a Dig, finishing off the Magnezone's remaining health as he sends in his next Pokemon, Klinklang. Klinklang's got Giga Impact, and I really didn't expect him to go for it immediately, but he does. Thankfully, it misses as I'm able to hit off a Rock Slide, doing not that much damage, but popping his Air Balloon. Now that I know he's trying to go for Giga Impact, I decide to switch into Tank. With the combination of Rocky Helmet and Iron Barbs, I do a lot of damage to Klinklang, and since I don't really have anything to do with Tank, I decide to switch into Cobra. This was actually a really bad switch, as when I'm finally able to hit Klinklang, I go for a Ring Out, doing literally no damage at all. Klinklang then sets up with 2 consecutive shift gears as now he's faster than me and I go for a Giga Drain, not doing much damage at all again. From here, I kinda assume that he's not gonna go for a Giga Impact, so I decide to go for a Giga Drain, and he does go for a Giga Impact, and I get lucky and he misses again. I then hit a Giga Drain, doing almost no damage once more as I decide to not be stupid anymore and switch into Tank. Klinklang then goes down to a Rocky Helmet and Iron Barbs combo as Chlorus sends out his next Pokemon, Metang. For Metang, I decide to switch into Leavanny. When I switch in, I get hit for a lot more damage than I expected, and on the next turn, I go for an X-Scissor, bringing Metang a little bit above half as he goes for an Agility. On the next turn, he's faster and goes for a Rock Slide that actually flinches me. Metang then goes for another Rock Slide on the next turn, bringing me to 8 HP and flinching me again. I then have to switch out, this time into Willow. Willow doesn't get hit for that much damage in the switch in or the turn after as I go for a feint attack, bringing Metang a little bit below half. Metang then hits me with a Meteor Mash, bringing me to 12 HP as I'm able to finish him off with a Jump Kick as he sends out his final Pokemon, Behem. I switch into Blossom, who easily takes him out with 2 Petal Dances, winning me my battle against Chlorus. After that battle, I head on to what is my most dreaded fight of this run, my final battle with Kyurem and Ghetsis. Because I chose to play White 2 instead of Black 2, Kyurem has the move Fusion Flare, which can one-shot every single one of my Pokemon. Since Kyurem is a legendary, I can't one-shot him with any of my Pokemon, so I have to hope to get extremely lucky in our battle. With that being said, I start my battle against Kyurem with Amazon. I gave Amazon a Rock Gem before the battle started, allowing me to take Kyurem down to a little bit below half as he goes for a Dragon's Breath rather than a Fusion Flare, letting me live to see another day. Thankfully, Kyurem goes down to another Rock Slide, leading me into my final battle with Team Plasma. Ghetsis leads the battle with Cofagrigus as I lead with Amazon. On the first turn, I go for a Seed Bomb, doing about a third as Cofagrigus goes for a Toxic, poisoning me. Cofagrigus protects on the next turn as on the following turn, I get a critical hit Seed Bomb, finishing off the Cofagrigus. Seismitoad comes out next, and I'm not really confident I can live both a Sludge Wave and my Toxic damage, so I decide to switch into Blossom. I get hit for some big damage on the switch in, and on the next, I go for a Quiver Dance so I don't get hit for as much. Sadly for me, this poisons me, so I'm forced to go for a Giga Drain in the next turn, one-shotting the Seismitoad as he brings out his next Pokemon, Electros. I'm way faster than Electros, so I'm easily able to get off a Giga Drain, bringing Electros into the red as I get hit with an Acrobatics, bringing me down to 48 HP. Thankfully, Ghetsis tries to heal with a full restore, so I'm able to get some more health back as I'm able to take out Electros with 2 more Giga Drains as he brings out his next Pokemon, Drapion. With my special attack boosted, I'm easily able to take out the Drapion with a single critical hit Giga Drain as he sends out his next Pokemon, Toxicroak. Toxicroak goes for a Sucker Punch that misses as I go for a Stun Spore, paralyzing him in the process. At this point, I really don't think I can survive a Poison Jab, so I decide to switch into Cobra. Cobra gets nailed by a Poison Jab, so I'm gonna be forced to switch out again. This time, I decide to switch into Tank and go for an Iron Head. It actually does a decent bit of damage as I get hit for a Brick Break, activating my Rocky Helmet and Iron Barbs. At this point, I switch into Leavanny, who tanks a Brick Break, and I go for a Slash, finishing off the Toxicroak as he brings in his final Pokemon. Hydreigon, being faster than Leavanny, goes for a Rock Slide, hitting me really hard and flinching me. This really does suck for me, and it forces me to switch into Tank. With Tank, I decide to go for an Iron Head as I get hit with a critical hit Dragon Rush, bringing me down to 19 HP as Iron Head does a very good amount of damage. At this point, Tank can't survive another hit, so I'm forced to switch into Willow. I end up avoiding a Dragon Rush on the switch in, and on the next turn, I get hit by a Dragon Rush and it actually flinches me. Druddigon is at 1 HP and he's faster than me, so I have to make a really risky decision. I switch into Blossom and I end up tanking a Dragon Rush as he kills himself with his own Life Orb, winning me my final battle against Ghetsis. After that intense final battle with Team Plasma, N and Ghetsis have a moment and I make my way to Victory Road. Here, I meet up with N one final time, and after I do that, I make my way further onto Victory Road and battle my rival for the final time in this game. Hugh leads the battle with Unfezant as I lead with Amazon. Amazon has a Rock Gem, and sadly it doesn't end up taking the Unfezant out in one shot as Unfezant gets off a U-turn, switching out into Bouffalant. With that switch being made, I decide to switch out into Tank. Due to Rocky Helmet and Iron Barbs, I do a lot of damage to Bouffalant really quickly, bringing him into the red really fast. Once he's all the way into the red, I decide to switch into Willow. I knew that he was going to heal, so I didn't take any damage on the switch in, and on the next, I go for a Jump Kick, doing a lot of damage, bringing Bouffalant to about half. I then get hit by a Mega Horn, bringing me down to 6 HP as I'm able to finish off the Bouffalant with another Jump Kick as he sends out his next Pokemon, Emboar. I knew that I was going to have to sack a Pokemon in this battle, so I decided to stay in with Willow and go for a jump kick. It only does about a third, which is not nearly enough, as Emboar takes me out with a single Scald as I send in my next Pokemon, Amazon. Emboar is now low enough to where I can one-shot him with an Acrobatics, and after I do that, Hugh sends in his next Pokemon, Unpheasant. Unpheasant is already low, so I'm able to take him out with a single Rock Slide, leading me to his final Pokemon, Simipour. Simipour goes down to a single Seed Bomb, winning me my final rival battle of the run. With that being said, that is the final thing I have to do before I make my way into the Pokemon League. Once I'm in the Pokemon League, I grind up my team and I challenge the Elite Four of Pokémon White 2 with only Grass-type Pokemon. I start my Elite Four journey with Marshall. Marshall leads the battle with Throw as I lead with Amazon. Throw almost gets one-shotted by a single Acrobatics as he's brought to the red and he goes for a Rock Tomb that actually misses. Marshall then decides to heal as I go for another Acrobatics, bringing him down to about a third. I'm then able to finish him off with another Acrobatics as he sends out his next Pokemon, Menchao. Menchao goes down to a single Acrobatics as Marshall sends out his next Pokemon, Conkeldurr. Sadly for Marshall, Conkeldurr gets one-shotted by a single critical hit Acrobatics as he sends out his final Pokemon, Sawk. At this point, Amazon's at full HP, so Sawk isn't a problem at all as I finish him off with a Seed Bomb and an Acrobatics, winning me my first Elite Four battle of the run. For my next Elite Four battle, I move on to challenge Chantal. She leads the battle with Cofagrigus as I lead with Rosemary. I go for a Gem Boosted Shadow Ball that shockingly enough does not kill as she goes for a Will-O-Wisp and misses. She heals with a Full Restore as I'm able to take her out with 2 more Shadow Balls as she brings out her next Pokemon, Chandelure. I know Chandelure has Fire Blast, and I know I'm faster, so I decide to go for a Shadow Ball, hitting Chandelure for a lot, bringing her just above half as she goes for a Fire Blast, actually one-shotting Rosemary. This was actually all part of the plan, as it gives me a free switch into Amazon where I'm able to one-shot the Chandelure's remaining health with a Shadow Claw as she brings out her next Pokemon, Drifloon. Drifloon goes down to a single critical hit Shadow Claw as she sends in her final Pokemon, Golurk. Golurk's pretty easy to take care of as I finish her off with 2 Seed Bombs, winning me my second Elite Four battle. Next up, I decide to fight Dark-type Elite Four member, Grimsley. Grimsley leads the battle with Liepard as I lead with Blossom. Blossom gets hit by a Fake Out on the first turn, but on the next, I go for a Quiver Dance as I get hit really hard with an Aerial Ace. With that Quiver Dance setup, I'm easily faster than Liepard, and I'm able to get off a single Giga Drain, one-shotting the Liepard. Grimsley then sends in his next Pokemon, Scrafty. On the first turn with Scrafty, I decide to set up with a Quiver Dance as Scrafty goes for a Rock Tomb, lowering my speed. I then go for a Giga Drain, bringing Scrafty really low as she goes for a Rock Tomb, lowering my speed again. At this point, I know Scrafty's gonna heal, so I decide to go for another Quiver Dance. I then go for my all or nothing play, going for Petal Dance. This Petal Dance allows me to one-shot Scrafty as Grimsley sends in his next Pokemon, Bisharp. Bisharp also gets one-shotted by a Petal Dance, and so does Crocodile on the following turn, winning me my third Elite Four battle of this run. After that battle, I head to Caitlin to battle my final Elite Four member of the run. Caitlin leads the battle with Musharna as I lead with Amazon. I use a Gem Boosted Shadow Claw to bring Musharna down a little bit below half as she hits me with a Yawn. Since I don't have a Chesto Berry, I switch out into Cobra, who gets yawned on the switch in. Rather than switching out again, I go for a Leaf Blade, finishing off the Musharna as Sigilyph comes out next. Cobra's then put to sleep, so I decide to switch into Tank. On the switch in, I end up avoiding an Air Slash, but sadly on the next turn, I end up getting hit and flinched by one. Thankfully, Sigilyph isn't so lucky on the next turn as I get hit by an Air Slash, bringing me to 74 HP as I hit with a Shadow Claw, one-shotting the Sigilyph with a crit. Caitlin then sends out Reniculus, and I'm forced to switch into Spring. Spring doesn't get hit by a Focus Blast, and on the next turn, I decide to go for a Swords Dance as I get hit really hard with a Psychic. Thankfully, a +2 attack Gem Boosted X-Scissor is enough to take out the Reniculus as she sends out her final Pokemon, Gothitelle. Gothitelle is easily one-shotted by an X-Scissor, winning me my final Elite Four battle of this run. With the rest of the run behind us, I walk up to Iris and challenge her for the final battle of this run. She leads the battle with Hydreigon as I lead with Cobra. Hydreigon goes for a Flamethrower, doing a lot of damage as I switch her out with a Dragon Tail. Archeops comes in next, and I have a Gem Boosted Giga Drain, so I use it and I do a lot of damage, not killing the Archeops, but regaining enough health to survive an Acrobatics. I then go for a Leaf Blade to certify my kill on the Archeops as Iris sends out her next Pokemon, Druddigon. I hit Druddigon really hard with the Dragon Pulse, but sadly it's not enough as I get taken out with a Flamethrower. I decide to switch out into Libani next, and I go for a Gem Boosted X-Scissor that shockingly enough does not kill the Druddigon, and I end up getting one-shotted by a Flamethrower. This was really unlucky for me, and after it happens, I switch into Blossom. With Blossom, I set up with a Quiver Dance as I know Iris is going to heal with a Full Restore. I then on the next turn set up another Quiver Dance as I get hit really hard with a Rock Slide, bringing me down to 80 HP. Now knowing how much damage Rock Slide does, I go for a Giga Drain, regaining enough health so I can survive one more Rock Slide, and on the following turn, I go for a Petal Dance, finishing off the Dredagon's remaining HP. Iris then sends out Hydreigon next, and sadly for her, she gets one-shotted by a Petal Dance as she brings out her next Pokemon, Lapras. Lapras gets taken out by a single Petal Dance as Iris sends out her next Pokemon, Haxorus. Me 100% knowing that Haxorus is going to one-shot, I decide to go for a Petal Dance. Petal Dance brings Haxorus down to almost 1 HP as I get finished off with an X-Scissor, and I'm then forced to bring in my next Pokemon, Amazon. Because I'm faster than Haxorus, I'm able to take her out with a single Shadow Claw as Iris sends in her final Pokemon, Aggron. Aggron in a couple of turns does eventually take out Amazon, but I'm then able to freely switch into Tank, and I take out Aggron with 2 Iron Heads, winning me my final battle of this run. Let's go, baby! Let's go! That's so good! Let's go! Ooh! 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 That was a difficult... That champion battle could have gone so much worse. It didn't go great, but it could have been so much worse. Ooh! Let's go! That was such a good run. This run was absolutely insane, and there were so many close calls where all of my Pokemon could have died in battle. Like I said, this run was really close, and I really hope you guys enjoyed this video.
And with that, that's the end of this run. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and with that being said, that was my attempt at a Pokemon White 2 Hardcore Nuzlocke with only Grass-type Pokemon.